All right. Have you ever wondered how to add a folder of pictures from your hard drive to the Lightroom cloud? If so, this lecture will help you do that. By the time you're done, you'll know exactly how to add a folder of pictures from your hard drive to the Lightroom cloud. I'll show you how to do it in both Lightroom CC and Lightroom Classic CC. Also note that in the additional resources section of this lecture, there are pictures in a folder that I'll be using and that you can use to follow along. So go to the additional resources section and download this additional folder of images. All right, so with Lightroom Classic CC open, we can go to File and then New Catalog. This is the important part, is the new catalog has to be under Creative Cloud Files. So click on Creative Cloud Files, which will then highlight it in blue, and then you can create the name that you want to sync across these different, all your Adobe platforms. I've already created one with the name Sync, S-Y-N-C, and I clicked Create, which is why you can see it here. So go ahead and click Create. I'll click Cancel since mine already exists, and then you'll see a new catalog with no photos in it. All right, so how do we import this folder that contains all the images? We'll click on Import in the bottom left, and then you'll notice that I've got my folder saved in my Lightroom Classic CC file here under the folder Upload a Folder. You'll have to note where you saved your folder when you downloaded it from the additional resources section of this lecture, and that's where you'll select yours as well. It could be the desktop, it might be in your C drive, wherever is most convenient and orderly for you to store your folders and your images. So here I've selected Upload a Folder, which is the name of the folder that has the 4 images that I want to import into the Lightroom cloud. I then click Import, and I actually want to show you something real quick before we do that. On the right here, you'll notice under File Handling that there are a couple options. Build Smart Previews should be checked in my opinion, because it'll allow you to build smart previews on the way in and make the load times of your images faster once they're in Lightroom Classic CC. By default, don't import suspected duplicates is selected, which keeps you from importing multiple images of the same one. Now, if you'd like to, you could also add to a specific collection. In this case, there's no need for us to do that. And there's no need for us to add keywords or anything else. But if you wanted to, you could use Develop Settings here, and you can select from different color, creative, black and white, curve, and grain, so that you could essentially be editing while you're importing. I don't like to do that, but it's an option. And for metadata, you can add metadata as well on the way in, or keywords on the way in, by clicking, selecting, and adding any information to those 3 different areas there. Okay, so what we're going to do is and I do want to point out one more thing before we import them. You'll notice that all 4 of them are checked. We can uncheck all with the block down here, or we can check all with this selection tool to the left, check all here. You can also individually select images by clicking to unselect or clicking to select an image. Make sure you're clicking in that upper left hand box there to make sure the white check mark shows up. Once we've got the right images selected, we'll click Import. And once we click Import, you'll notice that the images are starting to show up in our new catalog. Smart previews were built by or already exist for these folders. Great. I don't necessarily need to see that again, so I'll click Don't Show Again and click OK. Now, where in the upper left-hand corner, Lightroom and Adobe Lightroom Classic CC are shown, I can click on my name or whatever's shown for you, and then I can sync with Lightroom CC and click Start. All right, well, let's hop over into Lightroom CC now that we're done importing these images into the Lightroom cloud. And I do want to, before we do that, maybe show you one more thing. Maybe in the catalog you had open before, you had a bunch of images that you want to get back to. So if you want to get back to another catalog, you just go over under File again, and you click Open Catalog. Once you've clicked Open Catalog, navigate your way back to where your previous catalog was. Of course, there's open recent so that you can get back to it without having to navigate there under open catalog if the Lightroom catalog you want to get to is the one you were just in. Okay, so that should help you import images and to create a catalog that's synced across all of Adobe Cloud. Let's hop into Adobe Lightroom CC and see how we can do the same thing there. I'll go ahead and minimize that window and I'll open up Lightroom CC. Now once Lightroom CC is opened up, let's see how we can do it here. And it's actually a bit easier with Lightroom CC. So with Lightroom CC, we'll click on the Add Photos and then we'll navigate again, and you can see that we have our synced folder here that we created before, but we're not going to go there. We're going to treat it as if that doesn't exist. And what we're going to do is we're going to navigate back to where we saved our images. And in this case, I've got mine here under Upload a Folder as well. I'll click on there and I will choose Folder. Now once I've chosen the folder, you'll notice that I've got these 4 images with check marks next to them, and I can click Add 4 Photos. Once that's done, I'll have these 4 photos added. Well, and you can see that as I'm doing that, I have the Lightroom CC course albums open and the mobile here. So they're actually getting added to mobile. And the blue circle that's here and up in the upper right hand corner for uploading is showing the status of uploading these to the cloud. So even though they show up here and I can use them here, right, they are actually they now are synced to the cloud. So fully synced to the cloud, now they're available in the Lightroom cloud, both from importing them into that entire folder in Lightroom CC and from doing it in Lightroom Classic CC. Now I hope that helps you understand how you can upload an entire folder of images using either Lightroom Classic CC or Lightroom CC. Now this lecture is actually in response to a student question, so if you have questions yourself and you'd like to see some specific things added or explained in the course, please ask a question. Happy to answer or even create more videos. Let's keep going.